Hey, hey, what is up? What's happening? All right, I'm about to start the Zoom here. Let's just show that. Let's get it on. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. What's happening? What's up? Merry Christmas. How are you? We got don't have my hype guy, Thomas. Couldn't make it on today. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? All right, I just got to flip a few switches here. Then we can rock and roll. Go Colts. Yeah. Yeah. Go Colts. We're rooting for them. I don't think they have much of a chance, but we'll see what happens. All right. So, good Christmas. Oops. Let me keep an eye on the participants. We got Mississippi. All right. How we doing? How are you? If you can't tell, I'm a little under the weather, but we can't stop, won't stop. We're doing this. Merry Christmas, Dave. What's up? Hope you guys had a good one again. All right, let me just do one last check. Okay. Everything appears to be working. Let's do it. All right. So, welcome to Free Coaching Friday. You know what? There's one more thing. There's a lot of things going on when we do these. I don't have the link yet. Okay, never mind. And so welcome to Free Coaching Friday. So here on Free Coaching Friday, it is Choose Your Adventure. If you decide to get on the Zoom, all you do is you raise your digital hand, you go in queue, and I'm here answering your questions. That's what I'm doing. And so you can ask me whatever questions you want, sales, marketing, whatever you'd like. Okay. And we typically go about an hour. If you're watching on live stream, if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or X, you can go to higdengroup.com/free coaching, and that will drive you to the Zoom link to be on with us. I do this. I try my best to do this once a week. Some Fridays I'm traveling and I can't, but that's what we do. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Let's do it. All right. So let's start with Paul. Paul, what's happening? Welcome to Free Coaching Friday. How can I help?
Hi Ray. I don't know if you remember we were talking about blame last time
Okay.
with being living with my mum and stuff, and not blaming her for the lack of results that and you're saying that I'm aware of it as well, and that's like I'm ahead of most people. So
Yeah, I remember now.
I'm taking action to move out in the next less than 3 weeks time. So
Nice.
Upline has found me a place to stay, and I want to build a bit of momentum before I move out of home. So, I don't want to sink once I move out. So I just want to. I know that you read the book, The Extreme Ownership from Jonko.
Sure.
And he's talking about like better take ownership of my life as well. And I've been listening to the audiobook of that as well. So, but I haven't really been taking much action. I've been in like a bit of stagnation still from like I haven't been able to get around to becoming aware of how to stop blaming still. So, yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have to overthink it. It reminds me of when I had lost everything. So when I had lost everything, went through a divorce, was in personal foreclosure, I was $1 million in debt, had lost all the money I'd made my entire life. And I created a psychological trigger that anytime I thought about how bad my life was, I had to prospect someone. And so I just, because it's not, it's almost like, people that when they try to quit smoking, eat carrots instead. It's like a replacement therapy. And so it's not just, oh, I'm starting to blame. Oh, let me not blame. Well, you kind of got to fill the gap with something. And so same with me. I couldn't like stop thinking negatively. I had to fill it with action. I had to do something. And so I decided I'm just going to prospect. Every time I think about how bad my life is or how good it used to be, I got to prospect. And so that is a very healthy replacement. And that's exactly what you should do. That's what you should do in between now and when you move out, or else you're just going to sit here because what we focus on expands. And so if we worry about, I hope I don't fail. I hope I don't fail when I move out. I hope I don't fail when I move out. I hope I don't fail. It's almost inevitable that you will. And so instead, create like, I don't know if you've heard the psychological study, Pavlov's dog, right? So he would ring the bell and then feed the dog. He'd ring the bell, then feed the dog. And pretty soon when he would ring the bell, the dog would salivate before food was introduced. It was a psychological trigger. And so I would create a psychological trigger and the best one is, in my opinion, is prospect. So when I start to blame, I'm like, okay, I got to prospect someone. Let me go on Facebook. Let me go on Instagram. Let me call somebody. Let me do something and prospect someone because that's an income producing activity. It's the one none of us wants to do. No one wants to do it, but it's the one that will set you free. And so that's my advice.
All right. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That'll give me momentum to eventually, like, even if I come back living with my mom, I could still like come out of that blame from prospecting. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you come back to live with mom, but it's I would try to move into this new chapter of my life powerfully by prospecting and by making it happen.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Rooting for you, man.
Thanks, Ray.
You got it. All right. Let's go to Brittany. Brittany, what's happening?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, so I've been on here full time. Something that's been happening recently. So since I gave birth to my daughter like 3.5 years ago and became a single mom, I've had a couple iterations of business. I started as a coach and then got into network marketing, and then nothing had really been like super successful, and it was kind of in this place where I needed to do something, but I never felt like just going and getting just like any old job and like putting my daughter in daycare was an option. And so I've just continued to like persevere through it. And I feel it's definitely brought me closer to God. And so in that, in the last like year, the beginning of this year, I kind of went back into coaching and like hired a mentor to build my own kind of like program that ended up not working out. And then in the last like 2 months, I've gotten into insurance, so selling life insurance through a company that also gives me the opportunity to build a business like within that. And it's definitely a blessing from God because it was not something that I would have thought I wanted to do. Didn't want to do it, to be honest, but just decided to be obedient and pursue it. And so I'm kind of like in the beginning of this, but there's been words that God has given me like throughout all of that with my coaching, with I'm in Magic, so like with the water, that I do believe will come to pass. And I'm kind of like at this place where I'm a little resistant to like go all in on the insurance because I really want to keep doing, the mindset coaching and promoting like the water and everything. And so obviously part of building a business is like sharing the opportunity with the insurance people. And some part of me is like not wanting to do that because I would rather be doing everything else. And I just almost like want to use the insurance opportunity to like put myself in a place financially, if that makes sense, so that I can then pursue the other options.
Yeah. I mean, I would think so, like, when I was the number one earner for a direct sales company, I also did over $1 million in an affiliate marketing thing, same time. And I think the reason, and I did that, it wasn't awkward or weird or anything like that. I wasn't like pushing both at the same time. I just followed a very simple framework with it, which anyone can do. And that is generate a lead, connect with the lead, determine the need. So to sell the hell out of something, you actually don't, that doesn't have to be the thing that you market, you know, but you do have to market, right? And so, you know, you build a business through either or both marketing or prospecting. Prospecting is active. I reach out to someone, I ask them the questions. Marketing is passive. I do something I hope someone reacts to. So if I have multiple things that I can profit from, I can generate a lead, connect with that lead, and I can have how I generate that lead could be a little loose. You know, it doesn't have to be so, you know, specific to the thing that I sell, but more specific to the problem that I solve or to the person.
Yeah.
So like if I'm, you know, I can either target stay-at-home moms. I mean, you could target anything. I'm just giving you an example. So one example would be I can either target stay-at-home moms, or I can help someone solve the problem of financial worry. Okay. So if I create marketing for stay-at-home moms, when they become leads and I connect with them, I may say, ooh, man, you'd be perfect for life insurance. Have you ever considered that? Or, ooh, you'd be perfect for this thing over here. They don't have to know my litany of things that I sell. I can connect with that lead and place them where I think that makes the most sense. Now, most people absolutely will not do the work to build one thing. So it does reduce percentage wise when someone is trying to sell multiple things. It definitely does, but it's possible. You can do it. But I would keep in your marketing, I would keep the targeting of an individual, a specific type, or the solving of a problem as primary. What you don't want to do is one day be talking about, you know, hydrogen water and the next day talking about life insurance, right? People are going to be like, what the hell is this girl talking about? You know, I thought she was talking about water or something. And so, but you can talk to the target market or to the problem every time. And you know, let them generate the lead for more information. See, the problem is most marketing says too much and assumes too much. And so, but if you roll out marketing that attracts people to you, of them trying to solve their problem because they feel like you're speaking to them, you can connect with them and determine what of my things makes the most sense. Now, I will tell you that it is very often that the thing that will make us the most money is the thing that we resist the most, is the thing that we're like, I don't want to do that thing. But a lot of times when we do the thing that we're afraid to do, that's when we grow the most. And so look at all of this. There's a great podcast out there. It's Mel Robbins interviewing Stephen Bartlett. I've talked about it a little bit lately. And he talks about how, you know, there are two types of decisions, right? There's the irreversible type of decision, and then there's the very reversible type of decision. And the truth is, we place way too many things in the irreversible column when they're not. So if I did this or that, or if I led with this or that, or if I targeted this or that, right? All of that's reversible. All of that is, I mean, if you look at my headlines over the years, my taglines over the years of who I help and what it says, I mean, I've had at least, I mean, since 2020, at least 15 versions, at least, of me trying to figure out, okay, who exactly am I talking to? What exactly am I solving? And so I would go with this one for a little bit. I would do a little bit, be like, oh, that's not exactly it. Now I tried this one for a little bit. And, you know, and in every variation, I thought, okay, I think this might be the one. Let me go after this. But it's like, who cares? what I did was I continued to pump out content no matter what, no matter if I thought it was the perfect one or not. I continued to pump out marketing to generate leads and generate revenue, even if I wasn't 100% sure. And so what you want to, what you don't want to do is wait, is let me wait until I have this perfect plan and then I'll do stuff. You don't learn there. That's not how you learn. One of the proverbs says, in all labor, there's profit. And it doesn't necessarily mean profit the way that we think, but it means growth. When I do the work, when I execute, I learn something, and that is a gain. And so I would just, encourage you, generate a lead, determine the need, generate a lead, connect with a lead, determine the need, and you'll be able to sell the right thing to the right person if you follow that.
Yeah, I think that's just been a little bit of a stronghold that for me, like you touched on it, was when it comes to marketing or just building like a personal brand, like overthinking it, like
Sure.
not
That's everyone. Everyone does that.
Audience, with all of the different things, but then like if I post something one time, like if I have like a revelation and I share that, I can never talk about that again. Like, and I have to get it right the first time I share it so that people understand. It's almost like a fear of being misunderstood in a way, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
that, or I don't know what it is.
Exactly. I mean, a common thing is, we don't want to look stupid, right?
Yeah.
We're worried about our self-image. And, I mean, here's the thing though. If you want, all of you on here, if you want to crush a particular industry, you're going to repeat yourself over and over and over. So I now create 10 pieces of content for Instagram a day, every day. I do 6 trial reels. I do 4 standard reels. And I have a list of, I don't know what it's up to now, 200 sales hooks, right? These are hooks aimed at sales leaders that, some are empathetic, some are humorous, some are, deep insight, some are psychological. I have all these different things. And I just scroll through and I pick, 10 of these every day. And so I'm pretty much, for the most part, saying the same thing every day. And, I mean, little variations of it and little, tweaks here and there, but that's what needs to be done. I like, it's, Hormozi, he says, the person that's going to be successful in their niche is the person that will continue doing it when it gets boring, not when it gets hard, when it gets boring. I mean, I'm talking the same thing almost every day. I'm sharing the same story. Some of you have, been following me for years. You hear the same stories every week, and that's, these stories were gifts to us that we can utilize to help people. And because there's always people on here that haven't heard that story. And so you got to get used to saying the thing. Say it's not, let me come up with some revolutionary thing every day. It's, let me say it in different ways, roughly the same thing every day. And over and over and over and over, and pounding the message. We don't know who's going to be in front of that message today versus tomorrow. We have no idea. And so it's a lot of repeating yourself.
That's really helpful.
Yeah, you got it. Rooting for you. Okay, all right. And I did just get the link. I'm like, hey, where's the link? So let me see. I don't even know when I'm doing this. I'm a little bit out of it. Last night we were playing a game, and I'm just like, man, I'm not feeling great. Okay, on Tuesday night, Tuesday, December, whatever that is. I can't even read it. Is that 30th? Is Tuesday the 30th? Probably. Okay, we're going to go with Tuesday. Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I have one of my good friends on, and he's going to be helping give you advice around debt. Okay, now this guy has actually worked with a lot of our students and a lot of our clients, has helped them with interest rates, has helped them lower payments, has helped them reduce how much they actually owe. And this is a free webinar. If you'd like to register for it, it's higdongroup.com/debt. higdongroup.com/debt. Especially around this time, there's probably a lot of your sales team that are stressed out because they went too hard for Christmas. And so it's a good time for you to invite your team to it. But it's higdongroup.com/debt. higdongroup.com/debt. And it is Tuesday the 30th. Okay. So if you want to be on there, if you want to share it with your team, you certainly can. But yeah, he knows what he's doing. Dude's brilliant. Been doing this a long, long time. He's a local guy here in Naples. And so check that out if you want. All right, Alyssa.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. This is Nick. I was
Okay. I'm like, no judgment. No judgment.
But I don't know if you recall. I know you talked to so many people, but last Friday I was talking about going business to business.
Yeah.
For
Yep.
the water machine, and
Yeah.
you gave me some like really good insights on how I should probably just be calling, so I could cover a lot more ground over the phones.
Yeah.
So I transitioned. I started calling on the 23rd this week, the day before Christmas Eve, and it went really well. Unfortunately, the earliest I could schedule a phone call was Monday, because just with the holidays and stuff, like I was hashing out this calendar with this guy for like
That's
2 minutes.
That's okay though. That's okay. That's different than like if you're just calling, right? First of all, they're not going to remember what was said on the call either, but you expended a lot less energy and covered a lot more ground for stuff that's not going to be remembered either, versus you going in there and them not remembering that effort. You see what I mean? So I still think that's a win.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It went really well. I scheduled 3 tentative phone calls where there was enough interest for them to be like, can you send me an email with numbers on like how much more profit I could be looking at? And instead of just being like, oh yeah, sure, what's your email? I kind of pulled it back to be like, look, I don't even know if this is going to make sense. I would like to actually be on the phone with you while I go over the email, just so the numbers aren't completely lost on you and you have a little bit of context. They were open to that, so I scheduled a call with these people, and I'm gonna like send the email when I'm on the phone with them. So let's assume that those people pick up the phone, the email is sent, which is pretty much just a breakdown of what the investment is, and then an ROI based on a couple different scenarios on how the water memberships would play out.
So I'll give you a little bit different way to say that. Okay. So I don't really use the phrase "I'd like to," because it can sound a little bit more like it's beneficial to me for me to do it this way, or it's just not as certain as saying typically. Typically, we walk through this on the phone. Oh, that's what people normally do. Got it. You see what I mean? So like, words that end in ly, or most of them at least, are more persuasive. Typically, usually, clearly, honestly, ly words. And so instead of saying, hey, I'd like to jump on because that sounds optional. Like my daughter is amazing at this. Like my wife, she'll say like, hey, I'd like you to eat your veggies. And Sabrina will be like, well, you'd like me to. Where I'm like, eat your veggies. Like I'm very clear. And so if there's any wiggle room, my daughter will find it every time. And so I just think about my prospect too. If they're like, well, he'd like to, well, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, typically everyone else does. I wouldn't say everyone else does. You accomplish that by saying typically.
So in terms of like the people, let's assume that I do get on the phone with these people. I'm going over the numbers with them. Like, what should the layout of that conversation look like?
So you need to simplify it because most direct sales comp plans are so complicated. I mean, they're just
Well,
so
I'm not going over the business model.
okay.
Within the comp plan.
Okay.
I want to go over these like water subscriptions. A little bit of background on that. We would get a water machine into their business, and then they would then sign up people for a monthly subscription where they could come in and fill up their drinking water.
Oh,
And they would
okay.
be making money off of that. They're not necessarily like affiliating and becoming a distributor for Magic. They would just have a machine, sell the water subscriptions, and then if a water subscription member wanted to buy a machine, they'd make a commission off of that. So really the angle is the water subscriptions. I'm not really
Okay. As long as it's easy to follow. That's
Yes.
you know, make it easy to follow.
Really simple. I've put together
Yeah.
like a slideshow.
Yeah, I would have a slideshow. I would have charts, not just numbers, have like bar graphs or whatever.
Exactly.
And I would also mention that, hey, and also when you're a member of, Team Eagle or whatever, we also, promote you to, the rest of our members. I mentioned that before, I think a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, to just kind of incentivize.
Because I want them to see that I'm also working on their behalf to grow the business I have no interest in.
Yeah.
I want to help you get more gym memberships. I want it to just be win, 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 win. And so I would, bring that in too. You can't guarantee anything, but gyms appreciate whatever promotion we can do.
Definitely.
Good. I like it, man. Rock it out.
Well, I will. I'll let you know how it goes. And once again, thanks for the.
And think about the timing here. So I would bring up, hey, how many, I mean, we all know this, how many gyms absolutely kill it selling memberships in January, but then everyone stops showing up in February. What if they kept ordering the water? You see what I mean? So I would bring that up too. This is a multiple second, stream. And so like I bring that up too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Good,
Thank
man.
you.
We'll crush it out. Rooting for you. All right, let's go to Jiren. Am I saying that right? Awesome.
Hi, Ray.
Hey.
I'm just curious. I have a question about effective outreach message. Like I'm building a community school group around marketing, sales, traffic, content.
Sure.
And yeah, I'm just curious. What would you recommend me to do, like in terms of outreach, effective outreach message or daily tasks around this?
Yeah.
Or daily tasks?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know my history with that, but I mean, it was, I think about 5 years ago, I spoke at Russell Brunson's Funnel Hacking Live on membership models. And that award right there is that we've generated $10 million through a low ticket membership model. So I'm very familiar with membership models. And I'm gonna give you something that might be a little different than what you're expecting. Okay. Membership models, because it's a monthly membership, I take it. Yeah. Yeah. So membership models are obviously great when they work, right? They're great because you got income coming in each and every month. Like it's awesome. Everyone wants that. They're tougher to sell to people that don't know you yet, because people are kind of like resistant to, I don't know if I want to pay this every single month. And so I would actually suggest that you create like a bread and butter product, a bread and butter, one of my mentors, Hoverson, he said, create a caffeine product. And this is like a product you don't sell for, a ton of money, but it's just so good in its content. It's so good to solve the problem of whatever it is you're trying to help your people solve. And I would sell that product and sell the hell out of that product and then introduce them to the membership model. Because even with trials, I mean, we've all had our, how many have ever had problems getting out of a trial or getting out of a monthly membership? Ever had that? Like ADT, LA Fitness, like I'm like, how the hell am I still paying ADT? Like I canceled with them years ago. I'm like, what the hell? And like, I mean, some of these membership is like we've kind of learned our lesson that, man, some of these things are hard to get out of. Some are very easy, right? You click a button, right? But some are very difficult and tricky and just a nasty experience. Get them to trust you before you offer the ongoing monthly membership. And so I would come up with, like, if you look, I know his reputation has been tainted as of recently, but Tai Lopez, when he first came on the scene, he had I never got it, but I heard it was good. It was like a 67 step to wealth or something. And it was one individual product. He sold it for like, I don't know, 27, 47, 97, something like that. Come up with a kick butt product. That'd be my suggestion. Come up with a kick butt product, sell the heck out of that, get people to buy into you and wanting more. Inside of the product, of the delivery, at the end, say, by the way, if you like this, technology is changing all the time. And this is why we have our membership. If you like this, you will love that over there. And right now, if you jump in right now, create some urgency, create some scarcity, point them to the membership. It's also what we found in spending millions and millions and millions of dollars in advertising is pushing advertising to a membership difficult. And I've had this conversation with Russell Brunson too, but having a membership as an upsell in a funnel, much better. And so my advice would be, do the membership thing, rock and roll. But I would create some kind of bread and butter product that more people would be willing to buy as a one-time charge before they jumped into a membership.
So I could, let's say, create some very low ticket
Sure.
product and then upsell that membership.
Yeah. And if you're doing, so Ben's on here. He said 67 steps was $67. Yeah, I heard it was good. I never got it, but I heard it was good. So if you're going to advertise, you do need to be a certain dollar amount. Some people said, very difficult to make an ad profitable that's under like 75. But test that out. If you have an email list, then that could be a nice quick hit for you, get some testimonials. And then at the end, in the content, say, hey, if you like this, my membership's the way to go.
If I would like to promote that one-time payment product, so in this case, what daily activity would you recommend me in terms of outreach?
So two things. One, right? Let's go ahead and cover marketing and prospecting. So what is either the Donald Miller style problem you're solving, or the Rory Vaden and others style, who am I targeting? Whichever one you choose. And I would just have content that's rolling out consistently for whichever one you're choosing, right? So whatever problem you're solving or whatever person you're targeting. As far as reach out, I would, look at, okay, who's my target? So I'll give you an example. So some people saw the testimonial that I got in, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe, from one of my clients, Christy in Australia. And she wanted me to teach her cold reach out and then teach her organization. And so I'm like, sure. And so I do that, and she uses those reach out scripts, and she does $100,000 in personal commissions in 60 days. Not bad, right? And it was all cold reach out, people she did not know. She chose to target sales closers, right? Does that make sense for you? Probably not, but there's someone that makes sense for you. Is it podcasters? Because podcasters are very interested in more traffic, and a lot of times people are good at content but not good at marketing. So I would look at who's good at marketing, who's good at content. This is just an idea, right? You may have better ideas, but I'm just rolling here. Who's good at content but not that great at marketing? So who has a podcast that's really good but hardly anyone listens to it? That might be a good target for you to go to them and say, hey, I help people with their marketing to drive more traffic, and I have a brand new course out here, and it will show you exactly how to bop, 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 bop. If you're open, I can send you more information on it. Now, you could go that route, depending on how low ticket it is. If it's a little bit higher ticket, I would say if it's 97 or above, you probably want to structure a webinar to sell it. And so, I would create, you can follow Russell Brunson's ultimate webinar kind of process, create a presentation. And then when you prospect, you say, hey, I have a free video that tells you the, 10 ways to get more traffic to your podcast. Would you like me to send that over to you? It's free to watch. You send it over, in that, video that is free, it pitches the product. And so, that like we, for years we were generating $50,000 to $60,000 a month from 2 recorded webinars. We had one on social, on my wife's 10K social, what was it called? 10K social media recruiting formula, and my blogging course. But I had 2 webinars that sold the course at the end of the webinars. And those 2 webinars alone were generating $50,000 to $60,000 a month. And so everyone was tuning into them free. And then some, not all, would go and buy the course. And so, now if it's low ticket enough, will people, just buy it, based on what you're telling them? Sure. But there's a lot more people that will at least watch the free. Does that make sense? Yeah. And there's two books I'll suggest to you. 3 books, actually. 3 books for you. Not necessarily in order, but you may have already read this one because most people that do memberships have. But Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, that's a good one. Number 2, Daniel Priestley, Oversubscribed, gangster book, unbelievable. And then Donald Miller's Story Brand. Those 3 books right there, I think for what you're looking at, would be extremely helpful. Cool. All right. Rooting for you. Awesome. Okay. We got Henry. Henry's back in action. How are we doing? I can't. Oh, there we go. Hold on. I'm trying to spotlight you. All right. Henry, how we doing?
Hey, man, how are you doing?
Good. What's happening?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, right, I've been looking, like you said, look from online to see a good video. And I've been looking, and the thing is, with our company, I've noticed that they don't really believe in the selling the video as prospecting and giving them the plan. They rather want us to go sit with them one-on-one and do the plan by themselves. So that's why when I keep looking for a good presentation or video, I don't find one. And the question is, if I would have to make my own video that I want to do the same length as the original video that they have like 10 or 15 minutes. What's a good way that you suggest me do a video?
That's not a quick answer, man. I mean, we have a product called the Team Building Blueprint, which is the 21 most common problems that leaders deal with and how to deal with them, how to create a fast start for your team, and how to create a presentation for your company. And it's just not a quick answer. You know, like there's a lot that goes into creating. There's a lot of psychology that goes into creating a presentation. I can't summarize it. Like it's an in-depth conversation. Man, let me see. I'm gonna take a guess. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, there you go. Boom. Let's see. Okay. It is higdengroup.com/team builder. Team builder. So higdengroup.com/team builder. There's that. We post it over here. And post it over here. Yeah, it's just not a fast. I'm not trying to take it away from you or anything.
That one answers everything, right?
As far as creating a presentation, yeah, creating a presentation and creating an onboarding, which again, I hope that no one has to create their onboarding. I hope that everyone can just plug into whatever, the company or the team is using. But I joined a company and became the #1 income earner of a company I joined while it was in pre-launch. So I had to create everything. I created all marketing. And, I actually had 2 different presentations. I had one for people who understood network marketing and one for ones that didn't. Because I figured, if you understand network marketing, then we don't really have to, there's some things we just don't have to explain. And so I had 2 different, versions. Cool thing about that, let me check it today. Hold on. The cool thing about that is, let me just check real quick. Unbelievable. So the cool thing about that is that company, we actually sold gold and silver. And so we had thousands and thousands and thousands of people buying silver when it was $18 an ounce. And today it's $76 an ounce. So anyone that held on, like, congrats, way to go. So that was pretty cool. It was good times. Yeah,
because I think that's the thing that our funny is that they don't, the company that I'm with, they don't, like, the onboarding that I figured it out is that we have to sit one-on-one. And I think on the last video that you did last week, that you said that no one wants to go and sit down for 2 hours and actually do the whole thing. And that's what they suggest we do, go sit down and do the onboarding by ourselves.
Yeah.
The prospect.
I'm not a fan. To me, I believe it creates more sabotage than momentum. And, so I remember, when we went through quarantine, I've been teaching this for, 16 years. And there's a lot of companies that never liked that I taught it this way, that I taught, hey, use more online tools. That's where the world is. And I've been teaching that, since 2009. And, but during the quarantine, I got hit by so many companies that had always, kind of said, nah, don't listen to Ray, don't listen to Ray, don't listen to Ray. And I did 75 Zooms in 1 week for all these different companies, 15 different languages. And because they realize, oh crap, we've told our field to go meet in person and now we're under quarantine and now they can't. So we don't want to lose all momentum. Like who's that one guy that said use online tools? And so I'm like, sure, I'll help. And so I'm not against meeting in person. I'm not against it. I just think a lot of people don't want to do it. So let me meet people where they are, and let me be as streamlined as possible and process based as possible. And you know, we can meet at team functions and pool parties.
I was telling one of the guys really successful that like it's really difficult for you to do what really happened to. Well, his thing is he really is like, oh, don't worry about the nose, and then he's really spiritual and just says, always what you become and whatever you go through is you have to become a successful networker. But he doesn't talk about the skills like you do. Like I know, being in the field, you need some skills.
Well, I agree. I agree with not caring about the nose, right? But they're who's the guy's name? It's a fun name. Oh, is it Jethro? Let me see. Let me look this up. Hold on. I don't want to get this one wrong because it's a fun story. Yeah, Jethro. Okay. So when it comes to skills, right? Should we just like, whatever will be, God will be with me. Well, all throughout the Bible, we're told to work on our skills and improve our skills. So Moses meets with God on a daily basis, so much so that his face shines and has to wear a veil over his face or people are blinded. Yet his father-in-law, Jethro, who's a part-time farmer, part-time pastor, comes up to Moses and says, hey, your leadership sucks. Like, you need to appoint more judges. Like, what are you doing? And this is a guy that met with God every day, face to face, right? And so it's I think we're supposed to get better at skills. I think God loves us to grow. I think God loves us to, Jesus said, be as wise as serpents and gentle as snakes. For the ways of the people of this world they do this better than the sons of the light. And so to me, I think that means we're to learn skills. We're to learn persuasion. We're to learn, how to be better at what we do, to be the city on the hill that can't be hidden, right? To be the light of the world, to be good. People came to Solomon because of his wisdom, not because he was lackadaisical. Not because, like they came and the Queen of Sheba goes to see Solomon and says, man, he's wiser than anyone's ever said. That means he knew stuff. And so we want to know stuff. We want to be good at what we do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You got it, man. All right. We will. Brittany, is this a take two? Is it, or is
Well,
this?
I just had a question.
Okay,
The
cool.
last time that I was on here was when you had a revelation about directives.
Yeah.
Like before you hopped on. And so I'm just curious if you could speak to that more. I love learning about that stuff. And maybe pray if I have one.
Okay. All right. It's interesting because I was nudged to ask if I should pray for you, and I got a note at the time, but here you are back. So I'm gonna guess that I'm supposed to. All right. So first of all, a directive. Okay. And I've never heard anyone use that term. But someone told me about the phenomenon. I prayed, and that's what I got in prayer, that it's a directive. And so a directive is an expectation we have of others. We expect others to do this to us, and not everyone has one, but I had one, and I've helped some different people with one that had it too. And so all right, give me a sec. Okay. So for you, I get that there's not a directive, although I can totally understand why you might think it is. And I don't know why. Why is one classified this and one classified that? I don't know. But there is a lie that you believe. And the lie that you believe is people are mean.
Mm.
Does that resonate?
Yeah.
And so I could see why you would think, oh, that must be a directive or something. But it's not. It's a lie that you believe. And so so I can just we can pray and get rid of this. Give me 1 second. Okay. And so what will you notice, right? You should notice a much lesser influence of thoughts around expecting people to be mean. And I'm sure, if you carry this, I'm sure that, or carried, because you don't anymore, but if you carried this, then I'm sure you have lots of proof that this was true. And I get, the lies don't typically come from childhood. They usually come from somewhere else, later in life. But yeah, that's what I got. So
Thank you.
should be better. Should be better.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate you.
You got it. Okay. All right. Well, okay. All right. We're going to do one more. I'm going to pick someone. Hasn't gone yet. Jeff, what's up, buddy? You're muted.
There we go. Thank you, Rick.
Hey.
You. And happy holidays. I appreciate you being here.
Great.
Nice matching blue hat.
Thanks.
You did a video the other day on consistency, and it was very short. At least when I got the version of it. I struggle with that. We've talked before, and I appreciate you trying. I believe in our product, our company, the opportunity, but I'm not prospecting as I should. I believe in your model and go for no. I'm not doing it well. So I'm asking for advice.
How were your parents around money?
Struggled most of the lives. Dad worked and supported the family. Mom worked at times when she could, mostly as a housekeeping mother. It was, had our alcohol abuse from dad, and it wasn't all bad, but it had its bad times. They ended in divorce. Anyways, so I carried on that alcoholism. I had plug in the jug for 20 years, but there's still, I've not attained the success that I'm capable of. And I know network marketing is the model to do it, and I'm not doing it. So,
Are you scared at all that if you create massive success, that you might go back to the bottle?
I hadn't consciously entertained that.
Did your dad, when your dad was making more money, did he drink more?
No, it seemed like he just did it anyway. And he had his most successful times once he reached sobriety. So I know that that's possible. I wondered if I think that I'm not worthy of it. I don't know, but my family is, certainly my wife is. And anyway, there's something that I'm allowing to hold me back. Anyway,
So, I mean, so the two things here is one, the prayer would be because Mark 11:24, Philippians 4:6, they teach us the model of prayer, and that is to thank the Father for what we want. And so when ye pray, pray as if you've already received. So it would be, Father, thank you for revealing to me what I need to know to be more consistent. That would be the prayer. Father, thank you for revealing to me what I need to know to be more consistent. So that's number one. And then number two is for you to, and this has been a theme, right, when we talk, is stop waiting to feel like doing it. Because you're not going to feel like doing it. And so we got to do the work when we don't feel like doing it. That is the key.
Okay.
Like I literally never, ever. I mean, this should be embarrassing. I think I never got to the point where I looked forward to prospecting. Never. I never did. Every time I cringed. Every time I'd go to sit down and prospect, and I would go, oh, I should get a drink, and I'd go, get some water. Or, oh, I should straighten the garage. Or, oh, I didn't do my sit-ups today. I would distract myself. I would go try to do, something else. I never, not one time, sat down and be like, all right, can't wait to prospect. I never did. Never, ever happened. I think that's abnormal, to be honest. I think some people do get to a point where they look forward to prospecting. I never did after years of doing it. So think about it. From me, years of doing it, never looked forward to it, never felt like doing it, versus someone who hasn't been doing it. But there's no way, Jose, they're going to feel like doing it. And so it's the 1-2 punch of, Father, thank you for revealing to me what I need to know to be more consistent, and doing the work when you don't feel like doing it. There's a lot of proverbs around that. It's in a couple proverbs, but the one I remember is Proverbs 26. It says, and this is the proverb. It says, the lazy man buries his hand in the bowl. It wearies him to draw it back to his mouth. So what that means is, someone knows what they want. They just won't finish. They're the starter, not the finisher. They got their hand wrapped around what they want. They have success in their hand. They just won't finish. And so we got to finish. We have to, we have to do that. The hand of the diligent shall rule, while the lazy are put to forced labor. So what does that mean? That means that, the person that does the work when they don't feel like doing it are going to rule their life. The person that doesn't is put into forced labor. How many people are in a career they can't stand? How many people are in a job they don't like? How many people are doing things only for money and they don't like what they're doing? And that's a lot, right? And so we got to be willing to do the work when we don't feel like doing it. And, God is here to back you up. His nature is to grow you. His nature is to help you. And so he'll help us when we ask him. I love in 2 Chronicles 20:12, where Jehoshaphat says, God, we don't know what to do. They're surrounded by armies. There's hundreds of thousands of people around them. God, we don't know what to do, but we turn our eyes to you. And with that surrender, God goes and destroys all the enemies. And so pretty awesome. And that's what I've noticed is when he is always wanting to help me, always wanting to grow me, always wanting to give me what I need, just not in the way that I expected or not in the way that I wished. He gave me, I'm not talking about this publicly yet, but he gave me a lesson yesterday that blew my mind. And I'm not there yet to be able to talk about it, but just continuously seeking, his wisdom, but also doing what we can, which is fighting against the goads, right? Fighting against the grain to do the work we don't feel like doing. Because most people are craving, I wish I felt like doing the work. I never felt like doing the work, but I did it anyway. And so that's the 1-2 punch for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Rooting for you.
in your cold market prospecting, you had a rhythm to it, and I wish I remembered it. And I've got 24 of your verses on there. But is there, and there was that lovely lady who did, the cold market
Sure.
dog food, and she did
Yeah.
have a dog.
Yeah.
That was a pretty success story. I am still struggling with what to say in reaching out.
Are you leading with business or product?
Business.
So-
Usually, because the product is essential oils.
Sure.
And there's so many different things to help people.
So, I mean, I've given a million examples. It's, you just got to do them. Hey, I see that you're a realtor. We work with a lot of realtors, help them make extra money on the side. Is that something you're open to learning more about? Don't overthink it. Send some terrible messages, but send some messages. Like just get out of that overthinking, that protection. It's protection. I'm protecting myself from something. I think there's something in me that thinks that there's something bad if I succeed. And so like just get it out. Go do it terribly. Go do terrible videos. Go do terrible reach outs. But just get that building that muscle. Lifting the weight incorrectly is better than not lifting the weight. And so you got to lift the weight when you don't feel like it, when it's not perfect, you're not sure exactly if that's the right model. And then you come back on here and show me conversations and be like, hey, what could I improve here? See, that we can improve. You in your mind not doing the work, we can't improve. I can't say, well, straighten your back. Well, this time use more posture. I can't give you anything. We're always starting at the same place. And so like, that's why there's in all labor, there's profit, right? So if I go out and do bad labor, I'm going to learn something. If I dig incorrectly, I'm going to learn something. And so go dig incorrectly, go pitch badly, go do bad videos, go get there. I mean, I had to do a lot of terrible videos before I got decent. I had to do a lot of bad speeches before I got better. If I had waited till I was perfect, I never would have started. Never would have happened. All right. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. I'll report back how many I did.
Okay. Awesome. Well, very cool. Well, Merry Christmas, guys. I'm going to hop off here. And again, if you want to be on the Tuesday webinar, feel free to invite your team on it, because your team, if they're stressed out about debt, they're not going to work. They're not going to show up. And let's get them rocking and rolling. My guy that I'll have on, I am not the expert on debt, but he is. And so if you want to register for that, you can at higdongroup.com/debt. All right. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye for now.